The dark alleys with the knives are where people fear their lives. But some people have to live like that. But it can't all be that bad just because what's read in the papers and seen on TV, the jerks that run our country. People are poor, people are rich, but who gives a crap? Some people have to live off the money they earn, the scraps of food they can barely afford down at the local corner shop, and we're all laughing at the miserable ways they're living upon them council estates. But what about the people regarded as a snob with a lion head as their doorknob, and their little finger crooked when drinking their tea, and their books all hardback and leather-bound? Not the crumpled old paperbacks from round the corner on the number 3 bus to town to rent a book for free from the library like the most of us. But we disregard class as a social issue. Whether or not that kid's got holes in his shoes or her shoes, but if their skin's black or white, we think you're a racist. Or if we think that guy in stiletto heels is gay, even though that's the way he might like to dress, but we just second guess because you're homophobic. But it seems okay to segregate the working class from the upper class, even though they're all up their own arse. And as working class, because yes, I consider myself to be working class with paperback books on my shelf, and nip into the shop to get me ma some tea bags, hazily walking past those people we all call chavs. But I'm not chav, and I'm from a working class family. Yet everyone's quick to agree that if you're part of the working class, you're a chav. Blah-de-blah, we've heard it all before. In the paper, in the news, but council housed and violent. That doesn't mean nor you. I didn't have 27 grand to pay for uni, and neither did most of you. I can't talk for everyone, but maybe just a few people who consider themselves to be working class may have hardback books on their shelf because they're not necessarily poor, like the stereotype we all ignore. Shannon Matthews. Who was she? A kidnapped girl from a working class family, but I don't ever remember hearing about her. Just Madeleine McCann, whose parents are oddly suspicious. But they're not represented badly because they're rich, and sadly that's the society we live in today, and in my opinion it's a particular bad way for us all to live, to bring up the new generation in a strictly segregated nation that's completely divided between the rich and the poor, like the stereotype we all ignore. Shannon Matthews ended differently, but that's not an excuse for the way the media, the news, represented her family who happened to be working class in a negative manner and were fast to jump upon her mother, who was behind the whole thing. But who's to say Kate and Jerry aren't, because they can afford expensive bling? It's a bad world we live in, with conflict and war across the globe from East London to Bora Bora. But we deal with homophobia and racism and sexism, yet there is no case against class discrimination in this conservative nation, where the PM gets his job given to him because he went to fancy schools and they argue we're all equal. Well, we're far from equal, Mr. C, and as soon as someone else can see that we are a nation divided between rich and poor, maybe we can invite somebody else to deal with the issues so no kid has to go to school with holes in their shoes.